Alright, hey STAT250, this is Josh Fix, and we're going to run through basically the layout of our course. So we're kind of ready to go for the semester. You know what I expect and so forth. So since we don't meet face to face, this is a good opportunity for me to run through, give you a basic idea of how I expect you to read things, let you hear it from me instead of reading it in your own interpretation. So let's just start off with the syllabus and go from there. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so best email address, remember that we're required to use our Thomas University email address whenever we're corresponding back and forth. So please make sure that if you're using a smartphone that you go ahead and have that set up so that way you are using your Thomas University email address. If you have any problems, please make sure you contact TU's technical support. If there's a chance where we need to meet in an Illuminate session, here's my link to my virtual office. That kind of keeps it open all year long. Obviously, that means that you need to set up an appointment because I need to be there on the computer at the same time in order to meet. But more than likely what we'll do is if you have questions, and I'll address this later on as we're talking, if you have questions about a problem or a quiz, a homework, or a test, it's better that you just email me, and then what I'll do is I'll make you a video similar to this video, and that way you can watch it several times. Illuminate tends to have a little bit of glitchy, kind of patchy stuff and so forth. Here's my cell phone number. Please feel free to call me whenever you need to. What I generally, if I'm available, I'll answer the phone. Otherwise, I'll let it go to voicemail if I'm not available, and then I'll get right back to you. You could also send me a text message. Just make sure that you put your name in the text message so that I know who I'm talking with. I check my email throughout the day. I am a school teacher, and so I'm about to be on summer vacation. So, I'm going to be off work. I will be teaching a class on campus on Tuesday nights, but I do travel and I do train. I do lots of other things. So, just keep that in mind. I will do my very, very best to get back to you as soon as possible, whether it be an email, whether it be a voicemail, or whatever it be. All right. So this class, and you can read this, but I'll kind of say it to you. This class is basically set up so I've given you, let me talk from the top down. So I've created tests. From the tests I created quizzes. And from the quizzes I created suggested homework. From the suggested homework I linked or recommended videos that would tie right into those problems from the different homework, which would tie into the quiz, which would tie into the test. So we have eProfessor videos, we have lecture videos, we have YouTube videos. The YouTube videos are videos that normally are created by myself. The eProfessor and the video lectures are videos that that are just linked from the textbook company, and those are found inside of Blackboard. Let me kind of read through here. Alright, and once again, right here in this paragraph it says, if you have any questions about a suggested homework problem, a quiz problem, a test problem, what you do is just email me that page number in question, or quiz number in question, or test number in question, and what I'll do is I'll make a video or I'll give you written feedback either way, so that way you kind of got a visual response that you can take a look at, or if it's easy enough, we can just do a verbal or a written response. Let's see, so I've already talked about the whole fact that tests correspond with the quizzes, quiz corresponds with the homework, and so forth. So, just keep that in mind. Virtual meetings will be as needed. I don't have set up virtual meetings. I kind of run this class where I've got my course pacing chart. That's our pace of our class. Things open up, they close. When you have problems, you come to me. Otherwise, I kind of let the class roll. We don't do much discussion board stuff. I'll probably start building that in for the fall semester. It's been something that Thomas University has asked me to start implementing. So, but for now, basically, you've got your course pacing chart. You're basically doing homework, taking quizzes, studying, reviewing, and taking a test. Textbook. I'm currently teaching out of the 8th edition of the Blumen's Elementary Statistics. I've been teaching this class since this gentleman had the 4th edition. So, he basically has the same exact content in his book. All he's done is rearrange the pages, maybe move something from the front of the book to the back of the book. So, when you're if you have an older version of the book, what you basically can rely upon is just go with the section names or the section numbers instead of going with page numbers. Alright, so obviously for this class you need a computer, you need internet, a reliable source of internet. A graphing calculator is not required. I guess there are other ways, so if buying or renting a calculator is not in your financial scheme, then please make sure that you let me know as soon as possible, and I can send you a couple websites that you could use. Obviously that would require that you figure out how to plug those numbers in on your own, because my videos are all tied to using the TI 83 or 84. But I have no problem with helping you with that and getting you in the right direction if, like I said, if your financial means aren't there. What I would recommend is that you look for a friend who has a high school student or someone that's recently been in college and see if you can borrow their calculator for the summer. The other thing is, like I said, you can rent a calculator at rentcalculators.org, and we've got a discount code there that, and I don't know how much that gets you off, but it gets you a couple of dollars. Speakers and headphones, you know, it says required. Don't run out and buy any if you don't have them. Most laptops come with speakers and a microphone at this point, so you know, don't sweat that if you don't have it. As long as you can listen to videos, that's the number one thing. So as far as the headset goes, don't worry so much. Webcam is not required at all. We will not be doing webcam type stuff whatsoever. Some specific software you're going to need is going to be Adobe Reader, Adobe Flash Player, and Adobe Shockwave Player. And that's to be able to play those videos that are found in the eProfessor and, the video lectures. And so if you don't have those devices installed, there's going to be some prompts on the screen at that point that'll ask you to, you know, install or to update, you know, and there'll be links there and they'll tell you what to do and you can follow those links. If not, you can just Google search Adobe Reader and download the most recent version, or, you know, any one of the players there that you would need. Just go ahead and Google search it and it'll take you right to the website and you can download it. Alright, if you feel this is applicable to you, student support services is a great environment. You know, they do their best to help students that might be struggling. So you know, if you find yourself in that situation and you know, our correspondence isn't helping much, then please consider you know, going in there and meeting them and seeing what they can do for you. Alright, learning outcomes, you guys can read that. That's basically what we're looking to achieve. Okay, so here's some important information right here that kind of really lays out the course. So the homework policy, homework will not be submitted. Okay, you do not, when you go and you do your suggested homework, it is exactly that. It is suggested homework. You do the problems. You can ask me any questions about the problems. You know, most of the time the answers are provided there. If not, let me know and I'll get you the answers. And from those homework problems, that prepares you for the quizzes. Alright. However, we do have assignments. So versus the difference between a homework and an assignment is the assignments are on the course pacing chart, and I'll point those out when we get to the course pacing chart. These assignments should be completed before you take the quiz over that given section. So if it's, you know, if the assignment's out of section 3.1, then you should complete that assignment before you take the quiz. That's your due date for it. Remember that late penalties apply on these. That's a 10% late penalty. So you have 7 days from the opening date until that date to complete. Otherwise, 10% penalty may apply. Quizzes will open. You'll have 7 days to take that quiz. So, for example, I think your first quiz opens on the 25th. So that is, no, the 22nd, excuse me, tomorrow. So that means on Wednesday the 22nd, your first quiz opens. That means you have 7 days. You have till Wednesday of next week at midnight to complete that quiz. Anytime during that time, you can ask me questions before you take it, but it needs to be completed by that point. Otherwise, a 10% late penalty will apply. Tests. So tests, same thing applies. You got 7 days to take those tests. I want to make sure I say this very clearly, so I'm going to skip down here and make sure this sticks out. We have 6 tests. The tests are worth 60% of your grade. That means every one of your tests you take are worth 10% of your overall grade. Your quizzes, all of the quizzes, all of the assignments you have are only worth 20% of your grade. So each test is worth half of these other portions. So it's so important that before you take a test, that you make sure you understand everything that is been covered on those quizzes. So if there's 3 quizzes, you go back through those quizzes, you pull up the problems you got wrong, you rework them, you study them, and see what you did wrong, figure it out, so that way when you take the test you won't make the same mistake. On quizzes, I do provide you with the solutions. So when you finish up with a quiz, you're provided with instant feedback right away, letting you know obviously which ones you got right and which ones you got wrong and what the correct answers were. So that's very vital, and anytime you need to, you can always go back into that and take a look at those by going into your grade book and then clicking on the particular quiz, and you can open that quiz by clicking on the grade for it. Alright, test supply, same thing, 7 days. If you don't make it in the 7 days, you get a late penalty, 10%. Alright, exam, final exam policy. It's a cumulative exam. Your study guide will basically be made from the tests that you have already taken. So to study for your final exam, you will go through and complete or study all of the tests, the 6 tests that you took this semester at the end, okay? And I'll cover that and send out an email and stuff as time comes on. Alright, make up exams as needed. Just let me know and communicate with me. Honor code. Students may interact regarding homework and class assignments. Let me repeat that. Students may interact regarding homework and class assignments as needed, but may not share information regarding quizzes, tests, and final exams. Alright, so that's TU Honor Code rules. Alright, if you're not familiar with the Honor Code, please make sure you take the time to go and read over the Honor Code and see the consequences of not following that policy. Forum. Please just adhere to good discussion board etiquette and participate actively in the reading and responding and posting on there. Like I said, I don't do many discussion board assignments at all. Mainly I use the discussion board to introduce ourselves to each other and to be able to kind of use it as a place to pose a few questions, like general questions that people can go and take a look at, and I can answer them all at one time. But be respectful, and there is an opening activity where you're supposed to go through and read some general discussion board etiquette. Alright, here's the breakdown of your 6 tests. Okay, so to kind of give you an idea of what you're going to be looking at here, not broken down by chapter, but by content or by area. Here's the breakdown of your grade. Alright, late assignments, 10% penalty. Okay, so if you turn an assignment past the 7-day period or past its closing date or whatever, how you want to look at it, then you're facing a 10% penalty on that assignment. So that means that if it was an 80%, it becomes a 70%. If it was a 70%, it becomes a 60%. So let's please keep that in mind. You have a course pacing chart to keep you on track, to tell you what you need to do, when they open, when they close, how much time you have, everything. Trying to wait until the last week of school and to do every assignment, that'll work. But you're also going to cause yourself to get penalized, pretty severely. So let's make sure that we don't do that, okay? If there's circumstances, you're going on vacation, work, your schedule at work, whatever it is, please just communicate with me. Don't wait till afterwards and say, oh, I was really busy at work this week and I wasn't able to. Take a minute and send me an email that says, hey, I'm really busy at work right now, and I need an extra day or two to be able to finish this quiz or to be able to do whatever. That's fine. I'll work with you on that. But make sure you're communicating with me. That's the most important thing. Incompletes, we'll touch on that once the time comes. Grade breakdown, 90 or above is an A, 80 or above is a B, and so forth. Alright, you can read those general education objectives, alignment matrix. If you're interested, you can take time and read through those. Schedule. Okay, I will be providing a schedule in the form of a course pacing chart as a separate document. It's located in the documents in the Blackboard. The schedule is subject to announced changes through email and Blackboard announcements. That schedule won't change much unless something happens. We have so every once in a while I have a hiccup in Blackboard and people won't be able to do assignments, so we'll change some due dates or we'll drop some tests or something towards the end. But until you see an announcement or you see an email, the course pacing chart stands. Final exam will be on Wednesday, July 24th through Thursday, July 25th. You get 2 days. It'll open at 5 a.m. on the 24th and it'll close at midnight on the 25th. Alright, so that's a run through the syllabus. There's really no reason for you to print the syllabus out. It'll be posted on our Blackboard environment the entire time. It's just kind of a waste of paper for you to print it out and then have it sitting there. Let's take a look at the course pacing chart and then we can go look inside of Blackboard and see what we're looking at. Alright, so here's the course pacing chart. In the past I've had just an opening date. What I've gone to now is I've gone to an opening date and a due date. I changed that from a closing date to a due date because that means it's due. If you don't complete the quiz by that due date, you face a 10% penalty. I can't stress that enough. I've had so many students in the past just not really make, that didn't make sense to them or something. I'm not sure. And so what happened was is that they saw their grade going down a whole grade percentage at the end of the class. And they're like, what's that for? And I have to go through and explain to them that you turned in almost every assignment all semester long past the due date, past the 7-day grace period. All right. So this is what I'd print out. This is what you hang on the refrigerator. This is what you hang on your bathroom mirror. This is your reminder of, hey, I've got these things to complete by these certain dates. All right. Okay, let's talk about assignments. That was one of the things that I mentioned. So assignments, for example, like right here, when you come to section 2.3, you have an email assignment where you have to create some graphs in a Pareto chart in Microsoft Excel. If you don't have Microsoft Excel, just please communicate with me ahead of time. We can figure something out. There's definitely different websites and things that you can use. And then you have a soft chalk assignment that you'll complete. I don't have this soft chalk assignment uploaded inside of Blackboard right now, but I will get it uploaded so that it's there and you can see what to do. And then I'll give some detailed information or directions on how to complete that soft chalk assignment. Basically, it's an online assignment. It grades itself. So basically, you're answering the questions, but you can use your textbook. There's unlimited time on it, and you're going through and you answer the questions, and then it puts it into your grade inside of Blackboard. Alright, so you got a couple of those. You can see there, they're in dark, bold black. Those are your kind of assignments. You got 3 of them throughout the semester. Okay, one other thing to mention, and my brain, it's slipping me right this minute. It'll come back to me later. Sorry about that. As we go down the page here, just make sure you read through the bottom right here. Basically run through the same things on the syllabus, just restating it inside of the course pacing chart. Alright, so that's very important. Print it out. Like I said, keep it very handy. Alright, let's go to Blackboard now. Alright, so here we are. We come into our course. So, this is my opening screen when I come in. So I come into the course, and you guys probably see something similar. I've got it set up so the announcements come as your home page. Please take time to go ahead and read all of my announcements. You'll notice that, right now, once class has kind of started, every time I post an announcement, I send it as an email also to let you know that something new's been added, there's a new announcement, and I'll do that every time. So there won't just be an announcement you have to go in and find on your own. The announcements will be sent to you via email, so then you'll know, hey, there's something he just added, I need to go in and take a look. So I recently added the syllabus and course pacing chart yesterday, so that way you can make sure you get the course pacing chart printed out, and that's found in the syllabus tab on the far left. Alright, first week of school, what should you be doing? Obviously, I'm making the video right now, so you'll be able to watch this video, and I'll get that posted up there shortly. So you should be completing your opening activities. You should be going ahead and start thinking about topic number 1, suggested homework, and start working through those. Like I said, your quiz opens on the 22nd. That's tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., and it'll stay open until the 29th at 11:59 p.m. All right. Whenever you have questions or concerns, honestly, probably the best way to do it is to email me your question or concern. Include the page number, include the number or the quiz and the number, or whatever it is, and then I'll go and I'll take a look at it and get back with you as soon as possible. Alright, so opening activities announcement, methods of communication. Here's one really important thing if you could. Obviously I'm speaking to 2 of my classes in this video, but I have my OLB, my online section B class that I'm using as an example. If you wouldn't mind, please in your subject line of your email, go ahead and put STAT250 and then OLB or OLC or HYA. And that helps me just basically, when I have 30, 40 students in a semester, it helps me go to the right grade book. It helps me know which class to go look in until I become familiar with which class that you're actually a part of. Alright, gradebook. And I'll let you read this. I'm going to go ahead and say it to you too. When you look inside your gradebook, the first column is your grade including all assignments. That means if you have any missing assignments, it puts a 0 in the place of that there. So that means that like you take your first quiz, it's going to say that you still have like a 1% grade for your class. But then in the second column, it will give you the percent or the average without the missing assignments. So it's basically grading you based upon what you've completed so far. So first column is what your grade will be if you just stopped working right this minute. Second column is your grade so far on the things that you have completed. All right, Axiom Online Identity Software, TU uses this. You may see some questions pop up. The number one thing to remember is do not back out of the identity check. Okay, if you have a problem with the identity check, if it doesn't allow you to take the test, please email me and I will figure out why and work with you to see why that happened. This is put in place to basically, we don't want people just saying, hey, here's my username and password, take this test for me. So there could be some random questions that pop up, so that way that person wouldn't know that question about you. Whatever the response would be. So it's just a preventative measure put in place by TU to make sure that we don't have any honor code violations. Please make sure that you check behind yourself when you're going through and taking the class and you're doing quizzes or tests. Obviously, I don't take the time to look through every single person's quiz and to hand grade it. I allow the computer to grade it for me, and then I just go from there. So when you get done with the quiz, you should always go back and take a look at how you did. Take a look at see if you got points for all the questions that you feel you had the right answers for. If you misspell a word, put a letter at the end, you make a word plural when it's not supposed to be plural, things like that, it could count it wrong, but it doesn't mean I won't give you credit. So just bring it to my attention, send me an email with the quiz number in the problem number or the test number in the problem number, and I'll go take a look at it and let you know. Okay, I mentioned running a graphing calculator. Here's some more information on it. And here's a little bit of information about quizzes and tests. I'll let you read that. The main thing is you get one sitting on a test. Okay, it shows you all the questions at one time. On quizzes you get 2 hours, and on most tests, what did I say right here? I believe it's 2 hours. It might be 3. So please just make sure that you understand that once you start a test, you need to complete the test. What I would do every once in a while is I make sure I would save those questions, so there should be a save button on the side of your screen, and so that way if for some reason you do get kicked out, it'll save wherever you are, and then we can kind of go from there. The other thing you might want to do is you might want to write your answers down on a piece of paper as you're working. In case something does happen, then you don't have to go back and rework those questions. Alright, so that kind of is a quick run through of the announcements. Just make sure you take through and understand that those are there. I always keep the newest announcement on top. So when you come here, you always see the newest one on top. Alright, syllabus and course pacing chart. So here it is. So you can take a look at those. Content. So this is your folder you go to, like when you're doing your suggested homework. This is the folder you go to find the eProfessor and the videos that I am recommended you go and view. If there's a YouTube video, those will be linked to the actual homework assignment. I'll show you that in just a minute. So if we go, like for example, we're about to do Chapter 1. So you go inside the Chapter 1 folder, and it's broken down by sections. And so, like in a minute, we'll see that when we look at the assignment, it'll say, okay, go to Chapter 1, Section 1 folder and view eProfessor video for differentiate between the two branches of statistics. And so you can go through there and you can find that video and you can click on it and watch that video. Alright, so remember I mentioned that the Flash player and the Shockwave player, if you don't have those, you can see right here, here's the link to those two different file types that you would need, applications you'd need on your computer. So like I said, you can either Google search it or you can just click on one of these links right here. It'll take you right to what you need and you can go ahead and download it and get yourself going. Alright, let's see, discussion board. So like I said, right now we've got some people that have completed their intro forum. We've got a few people that completed their reflection forum. We don't have any general questions or syllabus questions yet, but these are places that you would post those and I'll give a response. So just periodically, just take a look, see if there's any general questions that have been answered that might apply to questions you have. Tests, quizzes, and assignments. So that's the test, quiz, and assignment button. Alright, so you guys have a bunch of opening activities. So this is due by Friday, the 25th. So here you go. You got to complete an opening reflection on the discussion board, an intro form on the discussion board. You need to click on this link right here and fill out the form for your contact information. And I had a student ask me, she said, why are you collecting this information? And I said, it's because what happens is sometimes throughout the semester I need your contact information, like I need an alternate email address or I need your house address because I've got to fill out some paperwork or something. And now Thomas University's system is getting more reliable, where I can go and look at underneath the faculty portal, and I can see things about you. Sometimes that's not always up to date, and so this gets me the most up to date information. Don't worry, this is under password protection. It's inside my Google Drive, safe and as sound as it can be. So I will, and at the end of the semester, I'll delete it out and and be good to go. So if you have any problems with that, just let me know, and I can gladly work with you on that. All right, you got discussion board etiquette. Please go ahead and don't print that out. Just pull it up and read it. Make sure you read the syllabus, and then make sure you print out your course pacing chart. So it says not available yet, but you saw it is available for you to take a look at. All right, let's go back. And right here we have test number 1, suggested homework. So, and as the semester goes on, I'll add more folders. There'll be topic number 2, topic number 3, and so forth. So we go into topic number 1. And right now we don't see any quizzes. And that's because the quiz doesn't come available till tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. And at that point, you'll be able to click on the quiz and move forward. So let's just take a look at what a suggested homework assignment looks like and what I recommend. So what I've done is I've put the objectives in place, so you can kind of see what you're going to be learning, and then I've broken it down by objective. So to be able to learn how to differentiate between the two branches, you're going to go and you're going to watch this video, and then you're going to go to your textbook and you're going to go to page 26 and you're going to complete questions 1 through 6. Then you're going to read section 1.2, which is on identifying data and measures. Then you're going to view eProfessor Chapter 1, Section 2, and you're going to complete questions 7 and 9. So every lesson throughout the semester is broken down like this. It tells you to read a section, watch a video, do these problems, or read a section, do these problems, or watch a video and then do these problems. And that'll walk you through and get you where you need to be. So what I've also done is I've also linked that right here, this document, this language, so you can click on that right there and you can go ahead and print this out. So that way you can just have it there to write on, to doodle on, to keep track of what you did and so forth. You could write your answers on here, whatever you want to do. So I've made that so that's hopefully convenient for you, makes it easier for you to keep track of what you're doing. Okay, so every section's set up just like this in the whole semester long through all 6 topics. All right, contact information. So this is basically different environments inside or contacts inside of Thomas University. So please, browse through there and see what applies to you. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know and I can try to direct you in the right place. All right, my grades, it won't pull up, but this is where you go to see your grade book. This is where you go to be able to look at the grades that you've received off of assignments you completed inside of the course. All right, so that pretty much gets us all the way through Blackboard and the syllabus and the course pacing chart. And that kind of gives you a chance to kind of hear from my perspective, my interpretation of those documents, so you kind of get an idea of what I'm expecting and how to read it and so forth. Please go ahead, and if you have a question, let's go ahead and post things on the discussion board so I can respond there, and then the entire class can go and take a look at them. If you have a question that you would prefer to ask me privately, please feel free to email me, and if I feel appropriate, I'll ask you, and maybe we can post the response and the question and response on Blackboard in the discussion board. I look forward to a great semester. I know this is a long video, but feel free to pause and come back to it as needed. Feel free to watch it several times as needed. I'm available. I'm here to help this class be successful for you. This is many of you have your own jobs, you have your own life, you have kids, you're non-traditional coming back to school. I'm absolutely excited to work with you and to make this course be successful so you can accomplish those goals. So please the thing I ask is please communicate with me. Let me know up front things that are going on. Don't tell me 2 weeks after it's happened, hey, I couldn't do this. I understand anxiety gets in the way sometimes and you can't overcome it, but just go ahead and pick up that phone and give me a call, or go to the computer and send me an email. I won't judge you. I want to see, like I said, I want to see you be successful and accomplish this goal. And you've paid a lot of money to go to school here, and we want to make sure that things stay on track and and go smoothly. One last thing you might be thinking is this seems like a lot of information to cover over the semester, and I'm not going to lie to you. The month of June is going to be crazy. It will go quickly. There is a lot to cover. and but you got to just stay on top of it. Things are not long. There will be some sections that take longer than other sections. Some sections, will be shorter than other sections. So just keep that in mind as you're going through it, and just keep a pace, keep it steady, keep it going, and things should go pretty smooth. All right. Thanks so much. I look forward to hearing from you.